Hey guys, we're over at Frank's Towing, do some polishing. We are working on a flat box today, and we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of how to do that. I want to thank these guys for letting us use their shop. They always treat us good when we're here. Hey guys, Dennis from DC Supershine here. We are working on a flat box cover from a Kenworth truck today. Oftentimes the guys hit the bottom or the center part with their boots, scratches it all up. This is what happened here, so there's a bunch of scratches. So we're gonna start with a lower grit at the bottom. We're gonna do a 320 grit, and then the rest is gonna be 400, 600, and 800. I'm working with my DWP 849X DeWalt. I'm gonna have it set at 3,500 RPM. And my sponge backing plate here, I use this for high-speed sanding. It's a little bit more forgiving whenever you're doing your passes. You want to keep a constant, even flow, and just less chances of grooving at the lower grits. Now you can do the same job with the DA as well. So same grits, just takes a little bit more time. The bottom part where there's a little bit more scratches, you might need to go to a lower grit like 180 to get some of the scratches out to make it a little easier for you. But this will do the job as well. Okay guys, so whenever I'm doing these kinds of pieces and they're off the truck, whether it's steps or box covers or anything like that, I use clamps to hold them down. I put them on a skid or something, or a work table, workbench, and I clamp them down so they don't move around on me. These things are awesome. Don't forget about safety gear. I wear a full face mask. I like it better than just glasses and a normal mask. Air protection with some tunes and some gloves. Okay guys, so we're at the polishing step now, so I'm going to use my 6,000 RPM Bosch with a fast cut pad and DC Super Shine cutting bar. A rake to clean the pad if I need it. For finishing, I'm going to use my flannel, DC Super Shine white flannel, and my DC Super Shine blue finishing bar. Finishing is going to be done at 2200 RPM. I'll set it at 22. And then if I'm not happy with what I see, I might change it to 26, but 22 should be good. Usually on these boxes, it works well. Okay guys, so whenever you're working on a box like this, there's a lot of edges. Okay, so when you get a 6,000 RPM caught in one of these edges, the machine can take off on you, you can get your fingers caught. Sometimes it hurts pretty bad. So you want to make sure that when you're working on edges, your wheel is always turning this way. So this rotation. So you want to make sure, that's why on this side, I'll turn it around instead of doing it like this, because the pad will get caught. So I turn it around, I do my edge. For this edge, I turn it around. Same thing for the steps. So with a 6,000 RPM, you got to really be holding on. If you want to do it, sometimes you want to do it like this to finish it properly. You just release some pressure. You just put very light pressure, and it won't take off on you. Okay? Now, for some of you beginners out there, the easiest way is to take the 3,500 RPM, turn it down to 22, and then your edges become super easy to do. Same thing for around the steps. It just becomes a lot easier to manage. So what I'll do is I'll do the whole thing with the 6,000, all the main spots, all the problem areas that I'm not comfortable with doing with the 6,000. I'll grab my 3,500, turn it down some RPMs, and it's a lot easier to manage. Okay guys, so when you're dealing with flat surfaces, often sander marks can be a problem. So sometimes they're a little harder to come out, sometimes they show up in certain lighting, and this light is right above, so it's easy to see. So I don't know if you can get a little bit closer here, but use the light to your advantage to see if you can see any like brownish or non as shiny spots. So like this spot right here is a sander mark. So you'll have to spend a little bit more time on areas like that, for example. So you just want to try and use the light, use different angles, and then just make sure that you're getting all the sander marks, because whenever you do your finishing, that's going to show up even more. Okay, so now we're at the part where we're going to do the step, and this definitely can be done with the 6,000 RPM. I don't do them with the 6,000 anymore. There's just a lot easier on the shoulders and on the arms. So I use my 3,500 RPM. And whatever speed that you set it at is whatever you're comfortable with. So you can start, you know, if you're new and steps are pulling too much, it's hard on your arms, you can put it at 1,800 if you want, just so it'll take a little bit more time. I usually set it between 22 and 26, seems to be a spot that works well for me. Even 3,500 works as well. So it doesn't matter, you just set it at the speed that, also, if the easier the step, or so the in better shape they are, the lower the speed, makes it a little bit easier as well. So when they're really rough, sometimes like these are in good shape, so you know, I'm going to set it at 2,200 RPM and it'll shine right up. But if they're a little rough, or if they're really oxidized, you can SOS them first. I have some high strength discs, which I'll post a picture of, and just so you see what they look like. And you can use that on the steps before polishing, and it'll clean them up and just makes the step a lot easier. Okay guys, so something I forgot to mention, another reason why I turn down my RPMs as well is it makes the pad a little bit softer, so you can get into the grooves a little bit easier. These steps here, there's plenty of room to work with. They're not the worst ones, but on a Peterbilt, for example, where it's more like the diamond shape steps, turning down your speed will give it a little bit more flexibility and you can get in there a little bit more. I never ever use, unless I don't have a choice, but I never use a new pad on steps. It just chews them up too much, so I always keep some used pads. And I use them till they're about this size. So until they almost, you know, hit the center ring, and then I'll keep a couple of these on hand to do the top of the tanks. So for finishing, so the rest of the box is going to be done with a flannel and the blue bar like I explained earlier. But for steps and diamond plate, a little trick is you can use the same pad, you just rake it very well, just clean it up as best you can. And then I use a blue bar from Matchless. They call it the Blue Clean. It almost has like a soapy feel. So it cleans all of the black, all the residue. Now, whenever I do steps, I don't put too much product, so I don't cake everything up to make the job a little bit easier. But this will help with that, and it'll shine it really good. And I just apply a very, very little amount. Just go over the step real quick. It'll give it a nice shine, and then your step is done. And thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like me on Facebook and on Instagram. And if you guys have any questions, any comments, anything that I've missed that you would like me to cover, please comment below, and we'll see you in the next one.